This Sunday represents a tale of two teams headed in completely opposite directions. Mike Vrabel's former team is, as the kids like to say, a hot mess, as hot as the chicken they like to eat after they finish a day of partying at the bars on Broadway. They've only won as many games since they dismissed him almost 2 years ago as he has with his new team. And that new team, our favorite team, the New England Patriots, are on fire right now. 4-2 and atop the AFC East with a chance to both get a measure of payback for their coach, but more importantly, solidify their spot atop the AFC East and as a potential playoff contender. Fitzy and Mego are here for your weekly preview. This time it's Pats at Titans, and we'll be joined by News Channel 5's John Burton to give us a behind the enemy lines preview as to what's going on in the disaster that is all things Titans. Fitzy, Mego, Burton, Pats, Titans, you. Here we go on Six Rings.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. It's all about winning, all right? Winning on three. 1, 2, 3, win!
Celebrating the heroes of Foxborough's past.
And with a good block. Look at Grover. Touchdown all the way. Watch the block of number 73, John Hanna.
The champions of the dynastic era.
Adam Vinatieri booms a 48-yard field goal, and the Patriots are Super Bowl champions.
The Patriots of tomorrow.
We're going to remove entitlement from our football team. We're going to earn the right to be here every single day.
And the fans whose faith never wavers. This is Six Rings and Football Things.
Hell no. I think the biggest thing is don't drink the Kool-Aid. Right now, obviously, they're going to say a lot of good things about you. And this, it's the second quarter of the season. You know, you break it up in quarters. And don't buy into that. You know, I feel like you get distracted by how good they tell you are. And you get to doing different things or not committed to the process how you were before. So I don't think this is not that kind of team. We're not that kind of team. I feel like we came in with the right.
There is your new unofficial leader of the New England Patriots, spitting truth down at Gillette earlier this week. Steph Diggs, don't drink the Kool-Aid. But the thing is, Mego, the Kool-Aid is often so delicious. I mean, who doesn't love Kool-Aid? But also, when you start playing real good football and you're atop of your respective world or division for the first time in 4 years, and your schedule looks like you may have a bunch of wins on it, it's hard not to be drinking that Kool-Aid. But I love the messaging of Steph Diggs. I love where this team's head is at as they head into what to many is a revenge game. But like, I mean, how let's put it this way. Fitzy and Mego here with our preview, Six Ring style of Patriots at Titans coming up this Sunday down in Nashville. The Patriots are a heavy favorite. They're a 7-point favorite with Mike Vrabel obviously fired at the end of the 23 season after he came up and famously accepted his red jacket in the Pats Hall of Fame. It angered Amy Adams Strunk. He also had a losing streak earlier that year. Things went sideways. And of course, after the Gerard Mayo debacle, he ends up the coach of the Patriots. Now things are going the right way. How much of this do you think this week is proving that they are capable of yet not another letdown game? And how much of this is that whole, win one for coach? We'll go make him feel better about the fact that they disrespected him a while back.
So when we talked to Vrabel earlier in the week, one of his best lines of the season was, "This is not going to be win one for the Gipper," like old Notre Dame style.
Yeah, the Gipper was also sick at the time, by the way. Like
I know, but
no one's sick. No one, save for Terrell Williams. Well, hopefully he's doing well. But like, it makes no sense other than like if you pound the Titans into oblivion, 500-0, you're still a half game up on Buffalo, and that's that.
Well, Vrabel's whole thing is like, it's not about him, and he's not making it about him. But behind the scenes, it's impossible for me to believe that he doesn't have an extra sense of motivation, an extra attention to detail. His staff is always extremely detail oriented. You see it the way that they're able to approach challenges and other aspects of the in-game coaching. But I think that there has to be extra emphasis on it this week, even if he's not outwardly showing it to the players. But I loved what Diggs said there, obviously, because if you listen to the post-game show on Sunday, like I'm a little bit less sunny about this team than I think a lot of people are right now, where I love the enthusiasm. It's so great to be able to report on a winning team and to go into a happy locker room again.
Correct.
Let's not pretend like that second half for the offense was a great performance.
No,
And
and Mego, I got to tell you, I have defended your take to the hilt all week
oh
long
no,
as
against
oh
who?
no, and Andy's like, oh, Mego had to be the rain on our parade. Come on, we're winning games, whatever. See, okay,
This is
just to set the,
bizarre. Am I in
it's so
bizarro
strange. No,
world? Like, what is
we
this
all are.
universe?
I mean, we're looking
Guys,
through.
the run game is atrocious. It's not sustainable. It's not
Yeah,
sustainable. Drake
no,
May's incredible right now.
I got
And
a lot of thoughts and feelings as to how they will ultimately fix the run game first, but just in case anyone doesn't have it, because context as much as content is king. Sunday, we're doing the post game show. We hear the audio of Mike Vrabel coming into the locker room saying, like, "Hey, turn that shit up." He wants them to play the music. He's happy. No way we don't celebrate this win. Yeah, we got a lot of things to fix. There's a lot of mistakes that we made, but I'm proud of you guys. We didn't have the letdown game, so the vibes are high. They fly home on a nice party and the Bon Tom's Roulette on the way home back to Foxborough from New Orleans. Mego checks in about 2 hours into the post-game show. Andy's in full-blown celebration mode. I'm a bit measured because I know there are some things they need to clean up in Isle Vrabel, but hey, they won again, and later on, we learned Monday night. Then I was feeling very celebratory because they were in first place. I asked you to describe the game with one adjective, and you said concerning. And the reason being that the defense is playing well, and Drake is playing right now at a level no one could have ever expected he would achieve 3 years into the league, let alone 18 starts into his career in his sophomore season. It's about the fact that the offense did stall out wickedly in the second half against a bottom half defense, and they can't get the run game going, to which I offer two ideas. One, they have faced more, per your pal Chad Graff from The Athletic, who you spoke to on this week's On the Beat podcast. They have faced the most 8-man boxes in the NFL all year. So teams geared up early on thinking Josh is going to have a very measured Drake. They're going to run more with Ramondre and Travion and Antonio. Now Gibson's out. There's been fumbling and whatnot. And I think the runners are a little cautious. And two, so now that Drake is passing deep and just lighting secondaries on fire, I think what you're going to end up seeing is fewer 8-man boxes. You'll have lighter fronts because they're going to add back to the secondary. That'll open some lanes. And two, it's what Josh keeps saying, time on task. Like the offensive line, they're great pass blocking, and I thought they'd be better at run blocking, but Jared Wilson's not getting a big push. Garrett Bradbury was supposed to be a great run blocking center and a lousy pass blocking center. The opposite has been true. So I'm going to give them some time to get the run game going. But you don't need me to validate you, but I 100% understand why you said there's reason for still a little concern.
guys, the run game is so bad. It's so bad. And I'm sorry to say that because we're gonna have another podcast this week where we say we're in agreement. This should be a lopsided victory for the Patriots. Like this should be another big win. I just when we're taking a big picture look at the team, I think that they strike my way that I want to bring this all around is I think they strike the right note in coming out of that game and saying we left a lot out like on the table that we could have put out there rather than just celebrating, oh my gosh, it's a 3-game win streak. Let's have a huge party in the locker room.
Right.
So when I hear Steph say like, don't drink the Kool-Aid, I feel like the Kool-Aid's not even being served. They're like,
no, it's being offered up by the national media every day. It's Cowherd, it's Eisen.
Listen.
Oh, Drake's so great. The Patriots. Oh, they're back in first. Could this team be a 1 seed? Like,
that's fun for fans.
Friggin' breaks, everybody.
Okay, like that's the job, and you gotta love that for fans. That's awesome for fans. It's just from the perspective of who this team is, what's scary to me about the run game is just that it's so many different elements that are a little bit off that are causing the run game to be so bad. It's not like, oh, there's just one fix here or one major mistake that they continue to make. It's a bunch of different little things. It's Travion trying to get up to speed as a rookie. It's having 2 rookies on the left side and that run blocking.
Right.
It's Ramondre rightfully being terrified to fumble and so not playing through contact the way that we're used to see him playing through contact.
And that's his thing. He's a graduate cum laude of, eat, drink, sleep, run through a mother blanker's face. Like he hasn't been running with his signature violent style. And I think Henderson is taking I learned it from you, Dad approach, where he's also being exceedingly cautious in his approaches as well. Like we saw a guy like in drafting Travion Henderson, who I was hype on and still am a firm believer in. I think we all thought, here comes the weapon the running game hasn't had in forever. And he has looked, I don't know, I'm not going to say dainty, but like he hasn't looked like a threat just yet.
Yeah, and overall, like I feel the need to sound the alarm on that because I feel like it's really fun to celebrate the team, and this week should be another big victory for them. But there's a sneaky challenge on the horizon with the Browns' run defense, and that could be the game where you start to go, wait, hold on, I
Ooh.
thought they were top of the AFC East. I thought this team was cruising through the playoffs.
Now, there's been a lot of pushback. All right, here's a thought as we record the latest Six Rings and Football Things live on the Fitzy GFY and WEEI socials. John Burton from News Channel 5 in Nashville with a Behind Enemy Lines perspective joining us momentarily. My guy, Robert Louis Steele IV, long line of great steals in America. Is it the worst thing to revel a little bit? We can simultaneously celebrate what's going on with the Patriots and be realistic about what the team needs to address. That's a great perspective. Man, look at all of our Pats fans growing up right before our very eyes. You can do both. 100%.
I'm like, that's not my job.
Yeah.
My job is not to celebrate.
No, and I love the fact that Drake looks insanely good. I love the fact that Steph Diggs is an incredible leader right now, and he's balling out on field. I believe in Henderson. Maybe Kyle Williams one day will become the field stretcher we believe he can be. Kayshon Boutte has grown up. Like, I love what he said recently when he talked about, hey, you know, I was not that guy. You know, I had first round talent, but I didn't make the most of it. I had character concerns. People were valid to not believe in me, but I've grown up a little bit. Translation, maybe he's not the parlay 9-leg kid that he used to be, but he is growing up. And now, thanks to Josh McDaniels, Mike Vrabel, Steph Diggs probably being a grown-up voice in his ear, he's turning into a legitimate WR2 and a favorite target of Drake, which is helping make the passing offense explosive, Mego.
Yes, I agree. I sign off with all of that. I would love to see more of the angelic F. Dinchism the third.
Yeah,
excited to see him returning a little bit last game. He's just got to get his feet wet. Feet wet.
He does. He has to get his feet wet as well. He got a taste last week. I think he'll still rock the slot a lot better in the future than be a kick returner because, as Jeremy Springer told us on the radio, Patriots special teams coach, you kind of need a bigger body on kick returns and less of a big body on punt returns, which is where Marcus Jones, who, by the way, is playing himself into a lucrative extension potentially with the Patriots, has been doing such a good job of. Okay, so we feel reasonably confident that the Patriots can and should win this game Sunday. However, Mego, if you believe this, new coaches who are coaching their first game, I don't have the exact stat. Who needs the exact stats? Because, you know, stats are excuses for losers, right? But coaches that are coming in for their first game, interim coaches, have an incredibly good record, both outright and against the spread. Is that the hope and the bump that the Titans will be looking for Sunday as they try to have a Music City miracle and avoid a Music City meltdown? Joining us now all the way from Nash Vegas. He's on News Channel 5 in Nashville. And of course, he's the midday host on at Nash Sports Radio from 9 to 11 Central Time. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, we are thrilled to be joined by our boss at WEEI's absolute favorite, Mr. John Burton, here on Six Rings and Football Things. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
We can hear you loud and clear, my friend. All right. So,
thank you for having me on.
Hey, thank you for joining us. We appreciate this. Giving our fans a little proper Behind Enemy Lines perspective and trading some football, busting and a couple of good-natured barbs is really kind of like what the balance in the world of podcasting, of news reporting, but, you know, properly maintained fandom is all about. So give us just right now, give us your 10,000 foot on exactly what a mess everything has been from post Vrabel through the Callahan error, because that's kind of looking Gerard Mayo-esque, just related to a different lineage, and what we can expect when we see Mike McCoy coaching the Titans on Sunday. Does anybody know?
No, nobody knows. We're all waiting to see what happens on Sunday. As far as the Titans go, I mean, it's an absolute mess. I mean, this is 4 straight years now that either a head coach or a GM or both have been fired by Amy Adams Strunk, the owner. There's been no structure. There's been seemingly no plan put in place, which is pretty remarkable when you consider we got a new stadium coming in 2027. So, it feels like a rudderless ship here in Tennessee with the Tennessee Titans, and it starts at the top with their owner. And, as far as Mike McCoy goes, he's stepping in as the interim head coach this week. And I guess priority number one is going to have to be fixing the offense and getting Cam Ward going. The Titans offense only averages about 13.8 points per game right now, which is just, you look at what those old geezers did Thursday night in Cincinnati, and that's not going to cut it, especially with a young rookie quarterback. So that's priority one: fix this offense, get Cam Ward some rhythm, get him going a little bit. But organizationally, you got Chad Brinker as the president of football operations, Mike Borgonzi, a Boston guy, coming in,
Yep.
From the Kansas City Chiefs as a general manager, and they're doing everything they can, I guess. But right now, man, you can see it on the players' faces too when you talk in the locker room. A lot of confusion, a lot of blank looks on faces. So this organization has a long way to go to get back to even somewhat relevancy. And the one I feel for the most is Cam Ward. He's drafted first overall, and it's his job to kind of fix this franchise and be the face of it. But now looks like he's going to have a new head coach coming in next year. He's going to have to learn a new offense, new nomenclature, new offensive coordinator. And who's to say that, next year's head coach says, I'm not crazy about Cam Ward. Let's give Will Levis another shot or whatever. It's just nothing that this organization has done since Mike Vrabel left has worked.
Yeah, so going back to that, John, because that is obviously the story from our perspective is Mike Vrabel's return to Tennessee with the New England Patriots. Do you sense any frustration down there still about Vrabel in particular? Like, you let him walk and now look what he's doing, turning around the Patriots so quickly? Or have enough years gone by and enough other catastrophes happened down there that people are saying, we've turned that page long ago, like, we're just trying to figure it out with Cam Ward?
Well, I can tell you this: the fans haven't forgotten. The fans loved Mike Vrabel when he was here because the Tennessee Titans had an identity, right? We're going to run the football with Derrick Henry right down your throat, and then off that, we're going to do play action and hit A.J. Brown for big plays down the football field. So the fans certainly miss Mike Vrabel's presence down here. The players have, at least they're saying what they're supposed to say. Hey, we've moved on. Things happen. It's a business, yada, yada, yada. But the fan base, especially given the fact that Brian Callahan came in, really was an absolute disaster. Will Levis crashed and burned under his watch. Cam Ward was struggling mightily in the first 6 games under his watch. You trade away A.J. Brown, you let Derrick Henry walk. I mean, all those things. And now you look where this team is now, maybe the worst team in the National Football League. So this fan base, which is, by the way, starting to grow more and more apathetic by the day, they certainly miss Mike Vrabel roaming the sidelines down here in Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, it got so bad. Like, these are the signs, like you're saying, John. These are the telltale hallmarks of a dysfunctional franchise. You've got in Indianapolis after obviously when their owner passes away, his daughters take over the franchise, right?
Yep.
And Carly, I forget her full name. She roams the sideline. She attends practice. She's making notes, and people thought, oh man, now she's going to get involved. This is going to be a debacle. Instead, it's a functional relationship now where your offensive-minded coach finds his guy. They get a healthy offensive line. They draft well. Jonathan Taylor's revitalized, and the Colts, speaking of teams we thought would be in the cellar of the AFC South, are dominating and are currently holding the 1 seed, a third into this snow globe of a laundry cycle season in the NFL. Whereas with the Titans, you'd think with all that draft capital, an offensive mind like Brian Callahan, who's coming in fresh off of Joe Burrow's greatest statistical seasons, would be what you guys need. Carly Ursay, Jim Ursay. I apologize there for having a senior moment. You would think that Callahan would come in and fix
Happens
things.
to me all the time.
Wait, and I got to say, I got a couple seasons ahead of you, my friend. So
you know what? You would be surprised.
It's just a lot of information. Like, maybe it was a simpler time when it was a newspaper and you'd have to get your scores off a 1-900 line. But anyway, It's just been a mess. You blow through Will Levis. You've got a quarterback in Cam Ward who I read nothing but incredible things about. The man, the character, the work ethic, the drive, the want, and the will to achieve and succeed. And instead, a couple weeks into the season, he's coming out and just saying, if we're keeping it a buck, we ass.
I was in the room that day. I was like, did he just say that?
He did. It's the quote of the season by far, and it's not even close.
Yep.
So what has been the number one issue for, is it bad drafting? Is it ownership involvement? Is it just poor communication? What is
All
the one thing?
Okay. All of the above. check every box. Inconsistent drafting, certainly poor ownership, and absentee ownership. The day Borgonzi was hired to be the GM, that's a monumental day for your football franchise. Amy Adams Strunk, the owner, was not there. The other day when Brian Callahan was announced he would no longer be the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. A press conference was held. Brinker and Borgonzi were there. Amy Adams Strunk, not there. And Brinker was specifically asked, where is Amy Adams Strunk? And he said, she's at her home. Okay. Well,
it's a weird look. It's a really weird look.
Is this not worth at least calling an Uber or a Lyft down to the stadium?
Here's the thing. Her home is in Houston. She still lives in Houston. So
really?
Listen, what she was trying to do, this is what I was told. She's trying to, get rid of the notion that she's a meddling owner. Hey, I hired my football people for football purposes. I'm going to let them handle it. But I think we're all in agreement here. It's just a bad look when your owner is not there. As far as the hiring of Brian Callahan, it seemed great on paper at the time. You mentioned the work he did in Cincinnati with Zach Taylor, helping develop Joe Burrow into one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL when he's healthy. The problem is he was a first-time head coach who had never called plays before in an NFL game. So now you're asking a guy to come in, be the head coach, be the game day manager, and call plays and manage the game at the same time. The formula never worked. And, there were issues with Callahan in terms of, quite frankly, not knowing the rules. Opening day, Gunnar Helm, their rookie tight end, makes a great catch along the sidelines, gets an elbow in. They call the play incomplete. Callahan doesn't know enough to challenge that, hey, one elbow equals 2 feet. You got to challenge that because technically that's a catch. He didn't know the rule, guys. How do you not know the rule?
And
How do you not know the rule to be an NFL head coach? There's only 32 of these jobs. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about Brian Callahan. I liked him. He's a sweetheart of a guy, really nice guy. We all liked him here from a media perspective and a personal perspective. He's a good dude, but
with a sailor's mouth, though, with a real sailor's mouth.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But, things like that. I mean, that's so bad on Callahan for not knowing the rule, right? We're all in agreement on that. But also bad on the Titans for not doing their homework and knowing, whether or not this guy can, offense is one thing, right? We all need a good offensive coach, seemingly. Sean McVay has ruined it for everybody in the NFL. I'm old school. I like the defensive guy, you know what I mean? But you got to find the next Sean McVay. So bad on Callahan for not knowing the rule. But bad on the Titans for not vetting and doing their homework and figuring out whether or not, hey, can this guy not only design an offense, but can he manage a game on game day? Because that's so important as well.
John, I want to ask you specifically about Todd Downing, because obviously he was the offensive coordinator down there. Before that, he was the tight ends coach. He's the receivers coach here in New England now. And the passing game is so excellent up here. None of us were prepared for it. We thought that Drake May was awesome and that he's this dual threat quarterback and you can take advantage of these zone defenses. But I don't think any of us were expecting guys like Kayshon Boutte to have these huge games like he had last week and in the first week against the Raiders. Stephon Diggs to look as quickly as well as he has as quickly coming off of his ACL at 31. What can you tell us about Downing? Because obviously it didn't seem to end completely great for him in Tennessee, but he's really fitting into this receivers coach role in a seamless and way that's elevating that room in a way that nobody expected.
Yeah, it's interesting with Todd Downing because when he was the offensive coordinator here, he had a tough act to follow, right? Arthur Smith did a wonderful job
Mhm.
running the Titans offense. I remember in COVID year 2020, the Titans with Ryan Tannehill at the helm and Derrick Henry running the rock, they had one of the best, really one of the best offenses in the NFL. I think they averaged well over 30 points a game. Todd Downing took over and everything was a little bit inconsistent in terms of pushing the ball down the field. And you still had AJ Brown at the time, and once he leaves, you got guys like Traylon Burks, and they're trying to sign these stopgap wide receivers, and the talent really wasn't there, and the passing game struggled. And he heard it from the fans. He really heard it from the fans, and then he had that unfortunate situation getting the DUI after the Thursday night game in Green Bay, and everything just kind of went downhill from here, and that seemed to really affect him, obviously professionally and personally, but. It's just Mike Vrabel has always liked him. Mike Vrabel has always had an affinity for him. And it's not surprising to me that he's finding success up in New England because the pressure's kind of off being a position coach now. And, you guys got some talent to work with up there. And to your point, he's done a really, really nice job developing and working with those wide receivers. And, when you have a veteran leader like Steph Diggs, that certainly helps as well.
Yeah, and I think that, sorry, just really quick, I think he, we got the reporting that Diggs had met at Davio's, a local kind of like high-end steak place up here, and that Downing was there because he had the relationship with him from Minnesota. So I really enjoyed talking to him, and I feel like behind the scenes, he's been really instrumental with this passing game.
Yeah. Downing's a good coach. He's a solid coach, and again, I think now that the pressure's off in terms of being the coordinator, he can obviously put his input in on game day to Josh McDaniels and the offensive staff as to, what might work on a certain week. But he's a talented coach. And I think he just feels comfortable working under Mike Vrabel. And like you say, you see the results and they've been really solid so far.
John, you talk about the Titans trying to establish like a clear plan and a path and a direction and a voice, and it's very muddled right now. And it's like, and nobody knows who's the captain on the ship and what's going on. And obviously you've only got an interim captain right now, and next year it'll be a new voice and a new direction. So it stands to reason it should be messy the rest of the way. Whereas in New England, we call them the Vrabros. These are all the guys that he's worked with at different stops. Yep. He gets his guys and he knows how, and they're all going to be in one direction. They are aligned behind him clearly as the leader. He's obviously got a familiarity with Josh McDaniels, excuse me. And then you've got a lot of intelligence in the room. Doug Marrone, Todd Downing, Thomas Brown. And it's a great collective football intelligence that is helping turn things around for the Patriots. But last question before we get a game prediction and wrap up the pod. I'm very grateful for your time. This has been terrific.
Absolutely.
So is there anything that you think, any tricks, any stunts that Mike McCoy is going to put? Is he going to do anything different? Like, will he put in Spears at running back? Is there anyone else he's going to start, a different kind of look that he's going to deploy? Because I'm sure there's a fear in Nashville that Vrabel is going to try to like ride over the hills, burn the village and salt the earth because he's still.
I'll raise my hand and say that's what I think is going to happen. I think Mike Vrabel's walking into the Nissan Stadium on Sunday morning wearing a bib. He's going to have a fork in one hand, a knife in the other, and a bib and some moist towelettes because I think this is an AJ Brown spank the goalpost game like I saw in Philadelphia a few years ago, in my opinion. To answer your question, Fitzy, a lot of it depends on the health of Calvin Ridley. He had to sit out most of last week's game in Vegas with a hamstring deal. So they're trying to get him healthy. I think what you may see offensively a little bit more is more tempo because especially with a rookie quarterback, right? You get him in almost that 2-minute type of situation. You spread you spread it 4 wide and you just have him go up to the line, see what you read, read what you see, I should say, and call a play and maybe not have to think as much. So we could see maybe some more tempo. And that could be a situation where, maybe try to speed up this Patriots defense, get them thinking a little bit, or maybe not get them thinking a little bit more and just having to react. So I think we could see some some more tempo. Spears has worked his way back from injury. He's really good out of the backfield, so maybe some more plays for him. The guy they got to get going is Chigakonkwo, the tight end. I mean, this guy has all the physical tools, but he has lapses during games. He'll drop passes. He won't run precise routes, that kind of thing. So I would imagine McCoy would, again, try to speed things up a little bit. And I think certainly trick plays are in the offing. They're at home. This is a fan base that, is coming in, like I said, bordering on apathy. Let's see some flea flickers. Let's see some reverses. Let's see some fake punts. Pull out all the stops. Why not? Because you're 1-5. Really, you're 0-6 because the win they had in Arizona was ridiculous. And
nuts.
Come on. Let's be honest. I want a few dollars on that, by the way, though.
ain't no shame in that. And speaking of that, last night I lost an 8-legger because Kenneth Gainwell only got 14 yards and I had him at 14.5. Damn it.
Yeah. I think McCoy's just going to come out and try to get some fun back into Titans football because we haven't seen that in a long time. So Vrabel talked about it in his press conference this week. Expect the unexpected.
That's a great way to head into it as well, because you do want to give the fans something other than, hey, there's the coach that we used to love, and he's on another team, and they're up by 24 points. I think it'll be close early on as well. I would expect the Titans to try to pull out all the stops, and we heard Jeffrey Simmons say earlier this week, they're going to want to try to show up and show out for their coach to remind him of what he left behind. Part of it also seems like sending up signal flares like, Mike, come get us in the offseason, please. come rescue us. All right, so let's give some quick. John, would you like to offer a score? I'm not sure if you're.
Oh, sure. Okay. I'll go Patriots 28, Titans 16.
Okay, there we go. That is an over and a cover for everyone at home who may have
a cover. Yes, sir.
Have certain applications on their telephone. Mego, what do you got?
I am sorry to do this. I have the Patriots 30, Titans 10.
Hey, the Titans earned this, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. No, they did. And the crazy thing is, John, before the podcast, we each write down our score. We do not see each other's score before we get rolling. I also went Pats 30, Titans 10. I kid you not. Wow. I think, like I said, I think the Titans will. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Titans score first. Like, whoa, hold on. Like Nissan Stadium
it's
is
been
rocking.
happening to this defense all season.
The Patriots start slow. They have a great run defense. The pass defense is coming together with the health of Christian Gonzalez. Looks like Jalen Hawkins will be back at safety, but old pal Harold Landry probably won't be based off of the ankle injury he suffered last week against the Titans. They are slow starters. They do adapt and adjust, which is great to see because the Patriots hadn't been doing that for quite some time. Then I can see the true talent prevailing and the Pats pulling away at the end. So new coach bump early, but in the end, talent speaks. Any other final thoughts you care to offer, John? Otherwise, we're happy to wrap and say thanks so much for providing some great behind enemy lines perspective.
No, it's just great being on a podcast in Boston with a guy named Fitzy.
You can finally check that box. It's like if I could serve you a frosty cold pint right now, although I know you're a certified fitness animal, I don't think you'd probably be tipping it back this early in the morning.
Well, listen,
make it feel like cheers.
Covering this team, I need all the relief I can get. So whatever you got, I'm taking it.
God bless.
Oh, God bless. You can watch them on News Channel 5. You can hear them on Nash Sports Radio, 9 to 11 Central Time, Monday through Friday. John, thanks so much for the time, my man. Really appreciate it. Mego, as always, great job. You can read her at weei.com, and you can hear her on the pregame show as well. And this knucklehead right here can usually be found at the local tap room, bars, and breweries, and often on the postgame and WEI afternoons. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to the latest and always greatest Six Rings and Football things. For John, for Mego, for Vrabel, for Todd Downing, for Mike McCoy, for all the good people in Nashville who just deserve a decent Sunday. Thanks for listening. Thanks.